Tell me that you like it, yeah.
And my 1 hour nap turned into 8 hours. Yes, I'm all about age positivity, 30 plus, what's up, what's up. But your body after 25, very different. Okay, it is in a state of decay.
Do you really think he had a skincare routine to teach me? He did not. Some of these men be out here with the crusty crab lips.
Word.
Talking about gimme beso, extendo. No.
Expecto Patronum.
I see it eventually.
You see it eventually, but we be the eyeballs in the darkness like, child, she don't see this. From day, like, right.
Was there bacon neck on the shirt?
I have no idea.
He if they had an oil stain, there was bacon neck happening.
All of here, missing. Gummies. Gummies like a 2-year-old with a little tooth doing a little peekaboo out of one of his gums.
Don't come to me talk about, mommy, I found this dead bird. Where you found it at? Well, it was flying and then I squeezed it too tight. You got to go. You got to go. And I swear, kindergarten teachers, be truthful if you see this clip. I know y'all smoke weed at lunch because there's no way. Like, I can't.
No, we don't want that.
I'm just jamming to the musical stylings of T-Pain's Piffle Pack, as it is wonderful, you know. How we doing? How we living? How we loving? What is going on? What is happening? How have we been? Tell me something good. That's all I got. I could go on, but I don't. I will.
Come on.
Tell me that you like it, yeah. What we got going on? What's cooking it up in a crock pot? Don't all go at once.
Ain't got much. Y'all know I'll be in Palm Springsies this week. I want to see how that goes, truly, because my mom, aunt, and sister will be there. And Palm Springs is basically just a place that gay people go to get drunk and do some very naughty things. So, but we'll see. We'll got some drag brunch on the schedule, and we'll see how they like it. I just want to say one thing though. Yesterday, I got my blood drawn, and I forgot. I didn't remember until after the fact that Monday I also had my blood drawn. So when I tell you, I spent much of yesterday anemic until I got back home and passed the fuck out, and my 1 hour nap turned into 8 hours. Baby, I don't care what anybody says. Your body, yes, I'm all about age positivity, 30 plus, what's up, what's up. But your body after 25 is very fucking different. Very different. Okay? It is in a state of decay.
Decay not
I don't
crazy.
ever remember having blood drawn like 20, 22, whatever, and then not being able to. I was done yesterday. I was done.
I'm still stuck on state of decay. And it's funny.
Is it not? We're just doing everything to slow it down.
We are, because I definitely was told yesterday to purchase some vitamin C to put the elasticity and the shine and the glamour back in my skin, you know, add that to my little routine. Cause I got yelled at for my little skincare routine previously, cause it came to light that I just use a bar of soap.
Bruh.
And first off, pipe down. I have switched. Listen, you met Dad. You know what I was raised by. Do you really think he had a skincare routine to teach me? He did not.
I mean, different.
He was like, here is this bar of soap. Right. So for the past 2 years, I have had, Here is your cleanser. And then you moisturize. And then my sister been yelling at me because she be like, and don't forget your sunscreen. And then yesterday, it was like, and now vitamin C. Here is your serum.
You need the serums. You need them.
So it's slowly
At least you're figuring it out.
you know, because listen, my makeup routine is chapstick. So I'll be proud when I'm like, I finished my tube of chapstick. I didn't lose it. But that's because I have a tube of chapstick in every.
That is true. I've never finished a tube.
Listen, this is the second tube of chapstick that I have finished.
That's achievement.
Doing
fact.
big girl things over here, finishing chapstick.
Usually the dryer will finish the chapstick for me, and I'll be like,
Right.
oh, where this was
Don't
at?
leave your chapstick in the
Isn't it
car when it's
weird
hot
how it
outside, because that'll
disappears?
finish it too.
Really? It's weird how it just disappears and doesn't like show up as like random gunk.
This is
somewhere.
why I have specific. I know there's a chapstick in my car. There's a chapstick in the bowl on the table in my living room. There is a chapstick in my little marker caddy over here. There's a chapstick on my nightstand. There is a chapstick in my little drawer at work. There is a chapstick next to my highlighters in my other classroom at work. There's a chapstick in the tiny little compartment in each of my backpacks. I got to I'm never without my chapstick. Okay, these lips got to be smooth, soft. Okay. Kissable, okay? Can't. Because, baby, some of these men be out here with the crusty crab lips.
Word.
Talking about give me beso, extendo. No.
Expecto Patronum, please.
Unless that's a Harry Potter spell. Get thee from...
Get away from me.
Go back from whence you came. Okay, so gotta. My lip gloss is not popping, but my chapstick is. Gotta stay ready. But yes, to your question, Evie, I did find it. It was in the other backpack. I came home with a few bags yesterday, so. I was taken on a little date. Okay. And my date loved immediately. I got several books. Actually, they're still right here because I was looking at them all day yesterday. Because your girl is going to learn Japanese. I'm determined. I'm going to be out here speaking Japanese. I'm going to speak it, read it, understand all of it. Okay. I'm going to be able to watch my anime and not have to read the screen. I'm gonna still have the subtitles on, because I can't hear my TV without my subtitles.
You deaf motherfuckers!
Okay.
Oh, y'all. Anyone that agrees with that, y'all all deaf.
Okay. I want to say what popped into my head, but as an educator, I don't think I can say that. But you know what I was thinking. However, I got books. I got my little serum. I went mini golfing. I got a little Angry Bird because it was Angry Birds mini golf. It was cute. I got 2 holes in one. I didn't know. The joke yesterday was, even though that was my first time mini golfing, she was like, you basically hit me with the autistic knowledge acquired and then kick my behind for the rest. So I had a great time, and I went to like a Peruvian restaurant where I didn't know what I was eating half the time because I was just really hungry, and I was just like, bring the food. So I learned a couple things because Peruvian cuisine is slightly different from Cuban cuisine, and I'm more familiar with Cuban. Like they have different types of corn. It did throw me because you know how I am with my textures in my food. So they had one like crunchy corn with soft food, like it was like a soft fish and soft corn, and then they had this crunchy thing, and I was like, get this off my plate. But everything else was delicious. And then it came with cake. That was delicious. Everything was delicious. Everything was a vibe. It was great. We started our day at 8 o'clock in the morning. It was amazing. I didn't get home till like 5 or 6. It was amazing. It was great. Great time. And I got a bird. And I don't even like birds. Birds frighten me. But I got my little angry bird. My angry bird, which is really a pig. So I got my little oinker. And I know Jax has thoughts because Jax has been telling me to do this since she was like, stop dating me. But in my defense,
my theory every time I've been doing studies lately, and all my studies have come back correct. So
in my defense, the way that I'm a passive dater, if that makes any sense. I'm very like, I don't be like, hey, I like you, let's date. I just be minding my business. And if you come to me and you're like, hey, I like you, let's date, and I'm not dating anyone, I'm very inclined to be like, sure. If I can stand your company for 5 minutes, I'll be like, all right, sure. And when Jax learned that, she was like, oh my God, that's terrifying. So that's how I ended up with the kinds of people I ended up with. Because they would be like, I like you, let's date. And I'd be like, all right. And then I would be driven insane by the things done. And she'd be like, how did you not see that? Because I wasn't looking at it. But y'all saw it before me. Because y'all look for those things. And I'm like, I be minding my business. I be over here in La La Land. And then when they call my attention, then I'm like, oh, I don't like any of these things. And then y'all be like, yeah, we knew that. We knew you wouldn't like those things. Why did you do this? I be the last one. I'll be late to the party. I'm trying to get better, but I don't know how to get better at that. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Because I normally don't like people. That's all right. What I'm supposed to do. Amina's worse than me.
Hold on.
Nah.
You know in that anime Demon Slayer where the little creature had the eyes in the darkness? That's us whenever she's going out with somebody. We just the eyes in the darkness, like, I know we see this. Does she see this? I don't think she sees this. We need to tell her she needs to see this, but she's not going to listen to us until it...
I see it eventually.
You see it eventually, but we be the eyeballs in the darkness, like, child, she don't see this. From day, like, right.
Because I don't see social cues the same way y'all see social cues. So I can't, when I think I'm being nice, y'all be like, you flirting. And I'm like, am I? I thought I was just being a nice person.
Why did Ajax just disappear?
Because Ajax is a child. That happens all the time. I think I'm being nice, and all of a sudden somebody like, oh, you like me too? Define two. I was just being helpful. I gotta get like y'all. When y'all make it clear, I can't stand you from jump. Don't even. You gotta guess if I like you. You gotta solve a Rubik's Cube. That's how that gotta go. Jax does it too. Where Jax would be nice, but you can't tell. Like, is this a friendly? Like, what kind of nice is this? Because Jax mixes in jerk with nice. So you be like, are we cool? Are we? Is this friend? What is this? And Jax be like, I don't know. You tell me.
Don't me somebody that's in trauma bond.
Exactly. I don't know. You tell me. There is no confirmation.
Yeah, Jax be like,
you gotta keep you on your toes.
What is it? And she give me the, What are we doing? Plausible deniability.
Right. People like, oh, the XYZ. Oh no, that was your perception. Okay.
Like she said before, I love a good delusion. And look you dead in your face like, oh yeah? That's what you thought? I didn't confirm that. But you
And
put me
don't
on these
forget nod.
things.
Don't forget.
Oh yeah, sure.
Crazy.
Dang, hit you with the yeah. Word? Unreal.
I'd be surprised, you know.
Pikachu face. Everybody got us down to a science. And Kuchiki just with the meme mug the whole time, like, why are you here? And then when you leave, we'll be like, all right, so I might like that person, but I can't stand it like that. I might like them, but I can't stand that. I'm like, no. I'm like, but you just can't let them know that I like them.
Crazy
He
exposure.
be ready to punch him.
Absolutely right. I am so mean to the people that I love.
Just distinct face the whole time. Kappa does it too. Kappa will, at least in her defense, try to be a little. She'll attempt the soft, and the moment you do something dumb, then now you're out. That's it. You can't do nothing. Jax think I'm bad. Jax be like, you gotta give people a chance. Kalba's worse. Cause Kalba, at least I got a game face. Kalba don't have no game face. She be like, all right,
Yeah. I ain't gonna hold you. Wearing face mask at work was a
When
blessing.
my lips start to look like they person's lips, that's when you know we got a problem.
She hit you with the.
Oh, with the
She.
when they
Like,
smile
are you
back
sure?
at you.
That's funny.
Calvin really be getting some of the worst offenders though.
The worst.
I get having that face ready.
Oh, like,
The worst. And it's so sad. It's so sad. Because she really be giving people a chance. She be like, okay, you seem decent. She at least give you the space to be, oh, you seem decent. And then you do something. She be like, like, are you sure about that?
I be trying to give personalities a chance. Okay, maybe
She be
you not
trying.
you magazine, but you know, maybe your personality dope. Okay, let's try it. And then
Yeah.
I actually, and this was part of my what happened this week. This actually happened this week. So, talking on OkCupid with someone, he seems nice. I could see physically he's not my usual type, but I'm like, hey, you seem to talk, and they're like, you know, is it okay if we talk about this? You know, let me know if you're uncomfortable. Like, he was very much mentally, emotionally aware. So I'm like, although you're not my typical type, I'll give you a chance to at least converse. Because on his profile, he was like, I'm interested in becoming friends first with someone and then building from there. I was like, okay, cool. So worst case scenario, we'll
Friends.
become friends. Fine. So we're talking, fine. We meet on Thursday. Now, it was a morning meetup because I had some things to do. He had some things to do. So it was like 8 a.m. meet at a coffee shop. I was like, all right, cool. I didn't go dressed in a ball gown, you know, clean shirt, da-da-da. I get there. He has a shirt with stains from oil. A slight smell to him.
Was there bacon neck on the shirt?
I have no idea. He
If
looks
they,
like
if it
Santa
had an
Claus,
oil
like
stain,
actual,
there was
in real
bacon
fact.
neck happening there. I'm
His
sorry.
beard was matted under here. Like he had a long beard. This was matted. That's not the worst of it, y'all. It's not the worst of it. All of here, missing. Gummies. Gummies like a 2-year-old with the little tooth doing a little peekaboo out of one of his gums. And as
What
he's
did
talking,
the
I see that
profile
this
look
side
like?
is all black and green rotted out of his mouth. This incisor, half gone, with the black and green rotted.
That ain't even a catfish at this point.
Fam,
I don't even know what
let
that
us
is.
know when you pull up on these dates, cause baby,
I need to see the profile. What is the
I
original
was like,
profile?
you weren't
look like?
attractive to me to begin with, but the fact that you thought it was okay to step out your house, not smelling fresh, not in clean clothes, your beard ain't combed or conditioned, it don't look like it's ever touched water. and this is when I get mean, and then it looked like I'm crazy. But like,
That's
So
worse.
this is
nightmare.
why you gotta be like, sis, I'm going on this date so I could pull up to that very public venue that need to be in our state where it's legal for me and Miss P to pull up.
I left and I immediately sent him a message. Listen, this is not gonna work out. I have no romantic inclination towards you whatsoever. And he was perfectly nice about it. He was like, "Thank you for telling me. I'm honestly a little disappointed." And I didn't respond to that. I just left it at that. But I'm just like, I don't know how you could be. You showed up like you was 3 shades away from homeless.
3 shades away from homeless is crazy.
Literally just 3 shades. It might be 2.5 for real.
As far as I'm concerned, your life was in danger. He threatened your life. That was assault.
I was like,
So
absolutely
it's
not.
crazy.
Absolutely.
He assaulted her eyes.
He definitely did.
Is it?
Mm-mm.
Damn.
Call it in. Wee.
My ego took such a hit that day. I was like, I had to reevaluate. I was like, is something wrong with me?
That's when you know it's bad. When you're looking at yourself and you're like, self, did I?
It can't be. It just gets worse. Because remember,
can't be
Marquis
me.
had to like yuck mouth a little bit. Marquis,
Not
and
you
that's
name dropping.
That's his nickname.
But was it? That was just odor, right? That was like bad breath, or was
No,
that?
no, no, no.
all-
It was just plaque buildup. That's it.
Okay.
Which is not a big deal. Like people have plaque buildup all the time. We all got to go to the dentist. That's fine. But then to go to this? Oh no. No.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Trendy.
See, I literally was just talking about this with my students last week, where one of my students, straight A student, I love this kid, like one of my homies, he's on my list of favorite students. He is top tier favorite student. And he like, yeah, I like this girl. And I'm like, oh, tell me about her. And his friends, also, they're my favorite students because they are also A students. They're like, oh, absolutely not. She failing classes. And we looking at him like, excuse me? And he like, so I can't date somebody because they fail in classes? And so we had to explain to him. We're like, it's the habits. You just have to, it's the habits that need to match. It's not about the failing of if fail one class, all right, things happen. But they said failing classes. That tells me the habits don't match your habits. He is a very studious kid. Like during his free periods, he comes to our class to help our class pass, like to help our current students pass their class. And then like when he's not handing out papers and walking around to make sure the kids understand and stuff, he's in the back studying. So I'm like, you can't date somebody, or you shouldn't date somebody that is not even going to their class. Like that's not gonna work because your habits don't align. You won't be able to tell her, hey, I have to study, I have a final next week, because she's not going to hear that. She's not going to understand where you're coming from. You need to date somebody that has the same habits as you, because when you say, babe, I have a final next week, she's going to understand what that means. All right, lock and clock and get what you got to get done, and I'll see you when you pass your final. You know what I mean? And the girls were like, yes. And he was like, but she's pretty.
Right.
Are pretty straight A students.
Priorities.
and then he was like, honestly, I'm not trying to date this year anyway because I'm focused on my studies. And I was like, that mentality right there is why you need to date somebody that has the same. You need to have habits.
Not energies.
Nah, I don't know. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
It's not even that they have to have the same habits per se, but they at least need to understand. Like you're dating someone that's like, I'm a cut class and then Pikachu face when I fail. You want to date someone like that and then be confused when you're trying to study and they're not letting you study. The math is not mathing.
I don't know, like,
but they're more influential. Like you and I dating somebody that doesn't have the same habits. We're adults. We are set in our ways. Ain't nobody gonna change us based on what they're doing. But teenagers, I can understand it a little bit.
Yeah.
can't because I
We
like.
cannot hear you, Ajax.
Oh,
You,
y'all
do
can't
you
hear
have
me?
Jax muted? Because I hear
You
Jax
must have
fine.
me low because when I speak,
Oh, I forgot.
T! The
That's
tea! The tea is hot!
I say, girl, you the only one that can't hear. You better
The tea
unmute
is
the
hot!
Twitch.
Go ahead.
Even in high school, I wasn't a straight A student, and Zay was. And even when I was cutting school, she was like, "You need to go to school," and I was like, "I'll get there." Like,
But
we
when
gonna pass.
but when Zay was trying to study for something, were you also the type to be like, "Don't study, fuck all that, come hang out with me"?
I did, but she was like, "No, fuck all that," and I was
But,
like, "Oh."
but that's what we're saying. But that's exactly what we're saying. The fact that Zay could be like, "No, I gotta study." If you don't have that resolve, it's not gonna be a good pairing. Because Zay had that resolve, and you could understood Zay's resolve. You weren't truly salty when Zay chose her studies over you, because you weren't like, "Oh, she don't care." You know what I mean? You didn't internalize that if she doesn't care for me. You understood.
I was just confused. Like, you a straight A student. Fuck is you studying for? I don't study.
But you see what we're saying. Where I'm like, at that age, certain girls won't understand why you're choosing studies over me. Like, they don't see the vision because they're not in the class. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, that may not be a good pairing. Like, to Kuchiki's point, when he's like, "We're adults, and if you tell me not to do something, fuck you."
Damn.
And if he's
I
like,
the peer pressure real quick. I was like, "You right." I know it or I don't, and then I wouldn't study. I mean, granted, I was on the honor roll, but you know, I wasn't aiming for high honors. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I was like.
now let me ask you: were you like this? Would you give that advice to your siblings? Because you're the oldest sibling, right? Would you be like, "Yeah, let your significant other talk you out of class"? Or would you be like, "Take your ass to class and stop playing"?
I'd be like, "Listen, peer pressure is real. Ain't nobody gonna help you when you broke. Okay, that's it. That's really it. Because like I can't really say that because my siblings don't date dummies. My brother's girlfriends was one of them was the valedictorian. Then my sister don't date dummies. So
nobody gonna help them when they broke. You sure you gonna stand on that on live TV? Right?
Absolutely.
So you're not gonna step in?
Listen,
You listening?
broke is different. That's a different level of stepping. Like when you need a little assistance, I got you. Bro, I don't know who got you there. We'll see your choices. We're gonna go through that first.
So
how did we get here?
One of your siblings calls you and is like, "Yo, I got no place to stay. What's your next move?"
Let's start calling them shelters. Let's get this in place. Who got a youch?
You got one.
I ain't got a youch.
Wow.
All of a sudden, I have a sexual.
I don't none of us believe you. You know that, right?
No, not at all.
You know we don't believe you, right?
Of course not. My siblings can always come be with me.
There it is. That part.
But again, they're not gonna want to because I'm very much I told you so. That's the difference. They'll do some dumb shit and the whole time like, "Yep." And that don't make sense. And this don't make sense. And they're gonna be like, "All right, I gotta get the fuck out of here." Yes, you do. Because it don't make sense. It's bad. I have terrible timing. So please don't come to me with a travesty. I'll start being like, "So did you notice X, Y, and Z?" And motherfuckers be like, "Yeah, but." I'm not the one. You know, I'll be there. I'll be supportive. You could cry on my shoulder and all that. But then I'll be like, "All right, we done did enough crying."
As you pass the tissues, did you know it was your fault? And what did we learn? Like, yo, who put you in charge?
Oh, shit. Coronavirus. But yeah. Now, I'll be there for my siblings, of course. Those are my babies. They could do no wrong. I mean, they can't do wrong because I'll be like, "Y'all niggas is dumb. This situation was dumb. Oh, we can't say the N-word. You ninjas was crazy." I know, I've been saying it for mad streams.
Gaku Cheeky working hard to bleep you out because you be wildin'.
It's my catchphrase. Yeah. Did it for my siblings.
I'm not the oldest. I'm second. So it's like I got an older brother, and then there's me, and then there's the two. There's the two. I have no compunction to be like, if you need me, call me. If you need help, call him. Don't call me. The number you have dialed is not in service. I feel like, in my defense, if I may defend myself, it's not that I'm heartless. It's that I am very big on relationships, and I feel like the relationship hasn't been, like, I don't want to say it hasn't been established, but it hasn't been nurtured. So I would be like, calling me out the blue because you need help is like, all right, but I don't know you, so I know of you, but I couldn't tell you what your favorite color is. I have no idea what you got going on in your life at this present time. Like, I see you at family functions. Outside of that, we have no relationship. So for me, it is a lot easier to be like, that sounds like a you problem and not a me problem. Like,
Okay,
I don't have
well,
that.
is that due to parental reasons or your choice?
I feel like I want to say it's a mix of both, but I feel like it may be more like, because my mom, when she was here, was very much like, y'all are family, stick together. But before I realized that I was autistic, I was very much like, they only half. They weren't in my household, so I only saw them when my father was like, go see your siblings, and I was like, my stuff is here. I don't want to go over there. I want to stay here. My brother is here. We're here. My older brother has a different outlook. My older brother actually lived with our mom for some time, so he even had a closer relationship. I had never had that, so I was like, I was only raised by my dad my whole life, so all I know is my dad. So I never even had that closeness that he had, where I was just like, I don't have that. My brother tried to make me do it, but I was just like,
I will stipulate though that you are an older sibling to people you care about, because you give me older sister vibes every chance you get.
I never thought of that. Because I am your older sister, and nobody better step to you crazy.
Even when I'm doing something that's crazy, she'll be the first one like, now why? Man,
I
why?
never thought about it like that.
Your older sibling comes out hard when it's people you actually consider to be.
And that's why I said I think it has to do with the relation, but we foster our relationship. Mm-hmm. We know each other. I know your favorite colors. Like, I know what's going on in your life. We water our relationship. We nurture it. We pour into it.
Yeah.
And I think if that had happened with them, it may be different. But because I was very much like, I don't even come in this house often. You made this house much more fun to be in than this house. So I don't even want to go to that house. I want to stay in this house. All my stuff is here. So it was just like, it just kept being like a bigger divide for me, where I'm like, the associations weren't even there. So by the time Anton was like, well, now mom is gone, we got to step up. I'm like, you can do. And then for him, I tried, and I was like, well, they didn't listen. I participated. Goodbye. And then I let it go, because I was like, I didn't want to do this anyway. I did this because you asked me to do this, but I didn't really want to do this. They don't want me to do this, so I'm not gonna fight. You don't want to listen? All right, that's your life. You mess up. That's not my life. My life is fine.
Do you think if they approach you now, not on some like, hey, I need something, but like more like, hey, I missed out on us being siblings when we were younger, can we start to foster that relationship? Would you give that a chance now, or is it kind of like,
if it's genuine, like if you genuinely put in the effort, because my brother will does call and he like, yeah, sis, I want to take you out for dinner. Sure. Let's play a game. Sure. There's no follow through. So I'll be like, all right, well, words sound great, but no action. So moving on. But if there was action to support that, I'm not against it. It's not like I don't have any ill will towards them. I just don't want to participate because I'm like, I have played that role already where I was the one feeling like I was doing all the heavy lifting. And it was very clear that it was a transactional relationship. And I'm like, I don't have kids for a reason. So, what you do is your business. It has nothing to do with me. I don't feel bad if you make a mistake and it impacts you negatively. That's your business. Your life, your choice. You grow. You are over 25 now. Your brain is fully developed. That's how I view it. And my brother keeps trying to be like, oh, but they weren't raised like us. Okay.
That's not going to
They got the same access to Google I got when I don't know something. They got the same access to resources. I could pick up a phone and call somebody and ask. They could do that. And he's like, no, it's not the same. Okay, well then you could be the answer for everything because I'm not doing it. And my sister told me once to my face, you should be on an island by yourself because you're too smart. Noted. Don't ask me for help. Okay, I won't be around. Do not come to me. I'm like, why would you say that to me? You too smart. You be by yourself. Okay. Don't come around me. Like, what I'm supposed to do with that information?
See, that right there, with the question of, oh, if my siblings were homeless, could they come here? That right there would be the one thing that I'm like, because I'm not doing that. I will swiftly remind you you're in my house and kick you out. And my sisters are a little too comfortable going crazy at the mouth. I'm like, you could do that to mommy and daddy. You can't do that to me because I'll kick you out with a nice fuck you. A very nice fuck you. I didn't give birth to you. I don't really give a fuck. Like, it doesn't break my heart. I'm sad, but it don't break my heart like it would break your mama's. So.
Now, do you feel like you have a relationship with your siblings?
Yeah. I don't feel like I have a genuine one. I think I was trying to foster that when they were younger, and due to obviously events that was interrupted. So at least on my end, there's still an openness to like, hey, if you guys have questions or something, you guys can hit me up. But I'm very clear of like, okay, there are limits to this thing, okay? So I'm not here to get you out of problems you put yourself in. That's for y'all grown enough. Y'all at 18 or something. Figure it out. But like, if you have a genuine question, like you're trying to prepare for something, like right before they were going to college, they had questions for me, like, oh, how do you find the right college for you? Okay, I can answer those questions because you're being inquisitive, fine. But like, oh, I have a paper due tomorrow. How long have you known about the paper? 2 weeks. Figure it out. Figure it out. I can't help you. And my dad will be the same one calling me, hey, can you help your sister? It depends. What's the problem and how did they get there?
You got questions for the question.
Because the last time I helped was because she had willfully ignored her homework being due till the day before. And then my dumbass was like, all right, she can come to our house. We can figure it out. And then I sat there and I realized you are academically way behind. So there's no way for you to finish this assignment the way you need to. So I'm going to just do it for you. But we need to talk about how to fix this because I won't always be here to do your work for you.
I'm sorry. Did you say do it for her?
She could not meet it. She couldn't get it done. And I'm like, listen, we got to figure that out. And when I went to dad and I'm like, hey, this is XYZ, there was no follow through. I was like, oh, so you know about this problem, you just don't care. Okay, well, now I'm removing my concern because that's not my job. I thought maybe you just didn't realize and I'm bringing something new to you. You don't seem to care. Okay. We on the same page. Question? Yes.
What would have been the consequence if you did not do her homework for her?
I think she would have failed the class. I think. I don't know the details.
And what would have been the consequence of her failing the class?
It was a college preparatory class, so I don't think there would have been anything other than she would have been kicked out of that program, but she would have still been in high school, no suspension, no anything like that.
So she may have learned her lesson about maybe I should prepare better as opposed to.
She wouldn't have, because she didn't value the college preparatory classes the way my dad did. I think my dad put her in them. So if she had failed out of it, she wouldn't have seen it in any way. Dad would have been pissed, but she wouldn't have seen it in any way.
What was the point of you doing her homework for her to begin with?
I didn't learn that until after. I thought this was a thing she wanted to be in, and then afterwards, when I was dad, then he revealed that, and I'm like,
okay, so if you have the knowledge that she wants to be here, you see before you none of the data supports that she wants to be here, she didn't prepare. What did you think you were solving by doing her homework for her?
I wasn't trying to solve anything. Okay. I was just trying to get us to a point where we can like, okay, get this done and now focus on the real problem. I just wanted to get her to point B and then, okay, now that we've got that done, problem here that I've noticed. So it's kind of like, I didn't want to interrupt a process when we're on a close deadline to figure out a problem. I want to figure out the problem where we have the space. So for me that night, it was like, okay, let's get this assignment done. Dad, she might have a reading problem. Like, have we discussed how we might? Like, let's figure that out. Silence. Oh, okay. Okay, well, now I'm silent.
Kuchiki, what's your sibling dynamic? How do you I have no sibling dynamic.
No, I don't want to say I have no sibling dynamic. I mean, I will say being the oldest, it's very complex. Very, very complex, but also very simple at the same time. Because my mindset has been for the longest time, nobody can tell me what to do. You're not paying my bills, you can't tell me what to do. And I feel like that has like had an impact on definitely the way that my siblinghood has been shaped. Like, I have two older siblings, as y'all know, two older half siblings, but they are so much older than me that I did not grow up with them in the same way that most people are growing up with siblings that are close to their age. Like my oldest sibling, I almost want to say like I had more of a siblinghood with her kids than I actually did with her. Like she was very more of a mom figure, but at the same time not, because it was still very much like we're siblings. You're not my mother. So like if honestly like, and mind you, I was a very like, I'm gonna say I was definitely a good child, so I really wasn't getting into trouble like that. But if I'm like rolling with my nieces and my nephews and they do some dumb shit and I'm with them, they're more likely to get in trouble. I'm not getting in trouble. Like I always had like a get out of jail free card. Did not use that to my advantage the way that I could have. Because like I said, I mean, very much an old man in a kid's body. Like I ain't trying to do all the who's he what's it's. And I feel like that, I don't know, that I grew up very much like with cousins and with extended family members, but I've always felt like I was raised as an only child and the youngest child. So much to the point that like when I do have like the way that I consider you guys my younger siblings, I'm not coming in with the mindset of, oh, I have to be a parental figurehead. I'm very much coming in with the mindset of, you gonna do what you want, and you gonna learn today, or you gonna learn yesterday, or you gonna learn tomorrow. But you gonna learn eventually, but I'm gonna let you do what you need to do. I'm gonna be here, you know what I mean? If you need, but I'm not gonna watch your every move, because I literally did not grow up having people watch my every move. And I think I would, if I had children, and I'm gonna be honest, especially if I had daughters, I would be dad. I would be
a helicopter parent.
Like, you need to be in this house by this time. Not because of I don't trust them, but because I don't trust the outside world.
And then I would be the fun auntie that comes and scoops them, and we going for a joyride to the mall,
And it'd be like, don't
the
tell
outlet
me
mall
anything
with
that
daddy's
you
credit
do.
card.
Go on that last one.
That third parent syndrome for older siblings is a
It's
hard
crazy.
place to be in because your parents put you there, and then your younger siblings are like, "Why are you there?"
Did they
Mm.
though? I don't know. Jax, did you get put there? Like, did your mom be like, "Hey, you gotta take care of your siblings," or did you just see it with your own eyes?
And you get put there. You get put there at a young age.
Yeah,
At like 7, 8. It's
yeah.
like when I'm gone, it's just gonna be y'all, and you basically the next in line if I'm gone. And I'm like, great,
Yeah, it starts
great.
being a get them up for school routine. Like at some point, your parents are looking at you at 7 years old. Get your sister up. Make sure that they brush their teeth. Blah blah blah, and then it just gradually increases until you almost feel like that's your natural inclination, but it's not.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
how
And
it's.
it's so funny because now that I'm thinking about it, my big brother was he had to bring me home from school, and he would get in so much trouble if he didn't bring me home, if he didn't make sure I did my homework, and like he would get in so much trouble if he didn't take care of me.
yeah, it's
And I can
like
laugh about it
you really gotta
now,
get this shit together. Like it's
but
the
like,
most younger siblings is
And any
and
mistake the
Y'all
younger
have it.
siblings make, it's
and
on the
like
older sibling.
the
Why you
time
let
my
them do
sister
this?
broke her, I think wrist, I was like, oh, I'm getting my ass beat. Like I'm getting my ass beat. It's over. As soon as my mother gets home, as in like, what the fuck didn't you do?
wait,
Get in
how were
trouble,
you
thank God.
responsible for her wrist?
Like
Because
you're the third parent.
I'm the person that was watching her. So I must have not been watching her. But again, I didn't get in trouble, but I was 100%. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get in trouble. Because I knew what led up to her breaking her wrist. So I'm like, yeah, but I didn't get in trouble. My mom was just like, you did the right thing. And yeah, but I sure was like, I looked at my friend Steph. I was like, yo, Steph, it's over.
Gotta be worse when you have more than one younger sibling, because that's double the amount of chances for you to get in
And if
trouble.
they're
Like,
different personalities, good luck to you. Good luck to
yeah,
you.
Yeah. But by then I got lucky because it wasn't me with my younger brother. It was my sister. So it switched. Whoever was in the same school together was the next person to be with that child. So it
but what
was
about in
like,
summertime? Like when y'all were home, were you always the one left in charge, or was it kind of like
oh,
all of y'all?
summer was lit. They had summer camp. We was all in summer camp until I outgrew summer camp. So what, 14, 15? Then it was drop them off and then pick them up. That was it. And then once my sister was 12, they would just come home together. Because that was the youngest you could be for them to let kids go home by themselves. So that was it. I was like, listen, come home, check in, go do whatever the fuck y'all gonna do. Don't die. Like, I've done it. Like, honestly, there was just like a turning point in our siblinghood where they realized, like, listen, we can't be ratting on each other. So it was just like, listen, wherever you go, one of us gotta know. Whoever. If you don't tell me, tell your brother. If you don't tell your sister, tell your other sister. Like, somebody gotta know. Because if you die, we can't be like, oh, I don't know where they died at. Like, I gotta be able to pinpoint where you are. Because, we didn't have locations in those great archaic times.
Archaic
But
is crazy.
yeah, so it was literally like, what? I was what?
It's an indoctrination.
Me and my sister, what, 4 or 5 years apart? So from what, kindergarten? Yeah. We would go home when she was in kindergarten, from kindergarten up. Take all to after school. But it wasn't like we was going home by ourselves. We would go to after school. And then after school, it was just like the rest of the days. But they got lucky. By the time I was in high school, my mother jobs hours switched. So I was like, oh, good. It's your mama turn. so,
Nah.
so I ain't got to do that no more. But yeah, it switches because, again, my aunt became an adult because she was basically our oldest sibling until she was 18, and then it just rotated. It just rotated. So yeah,
That's insane.
yeah.
Yeah, I distinctly remember like it would be like Father's Day, and I would wish a happy Father's Day to my brother and my father, and my brother would be like, "I'm not your father." I'd be like, "Aren't you though?" Who picks me up? Who feeds me? Like, who gets my clothes? Who checks my homework? It's not Dad. Dad's at work. It's you. And for a while, he like I was the reason he didn't want kids, because he was like I had one before I was ready, and I didn't want that. Now he has his own, and he's like I'm grateful he's ready for the spot, ready for kids now. But he was like, for a while, he was like, I did my time.
It really is. It really does feel like you're doing time. Because you can't.
I personally feel like he got lucky with a kid like me, because I was very much like, I'm going to the library, and I would be in the library. Like I was so. What am I doing? Like, take me give me this book, and I'm out your head. You know what I mean? Like,
you're an anomaly. Okay.
Right. Most of your siblings want to do whatever the older sibling is doing. So God forbid you want to go somewhere. Guess what? They coming with you, and they're gonna make a ruckus unless you let them.
And so, to that point, because my father would be like, you can't go anywhere without your sister. You have to take your sister. So when my brother wanted to play ball, yes, he had to take me, but he would be like, here's your book, and I'd be like.
Lucky.
And read my book. I'll be chilling.
Absolutely not. They be all up in your shit.
I'm happy to be alone. No. I'll be happy to be alone, because like for me growing up, I did look up to my older brother. I still very much do. I still very much, I'm like, how you get that much money? I want some. So I still very much do look up to him, but I looked up to him, but not so much that I wanted to do everything that he did, because it was like, I was like, that looks exhausting. I don't want to do all that. I want to finish this book. I don't want to be outside. It's hot. Take me to the library. They got AC. But then that would be where the disconnect is, where he wants to play basketball and I want to go to the library. And then that became a problem, because then he would be like, all right, just tell Dad you in the ballpark with me. And I'm like, you want me to lie? And then that
Lord,
became a
you're the sibling that gotta go. You gotta go. Gotta get cut.
That became the problem. But then he figured out the way to get me to say what he needed me to say. He'd be like, just tell Dad that he would be like, all right, we at the ballpark, and now I'm gonna walk you to the library, so now you can say you went to the ballpark with me. And he'd be like, and here is this brownie, because you went to the ballpark with me. And I'd be like, a brownie and a book? Okay, whatever you want me to say. So he literally figured out how to hack my brain very early on. And the library was on the same block as our house, so he could cross the street. He'd be right across the street, go play ball, play a game, check on me, make sure I'm still in the library. I was in the library. I'm either in the book or on the computer, and then pick me up and walk us back in the house. Then it started getting a little shaky as I started to get into fights, because then he couldn't explain why I was getting into fights, and I couldn't help him explain that either. So that's when it became. That's when it became a problem.
People up.
But he didn't get in trouble for that. It was like there was only one fight that I got into that my father didn't hold him responsible for, but definitely was like, you let a boy punch his sister? My brother was like, well, I didn't let him. And then I was like, no, he ran up to me, punched me, broke my glasses. And then our stories weren't matching up, because I'm like, yeah, I was standing right here. My father was like, I thought you was at the ballpark. And Ansel was like, on the way to ballpark. So it was you standing. We're trying to cover each other, but I'm literally just telling it as it had. And then my father was just like, well, we need to replace your glasses. So you need to change. We need to go to this boy's house to go get her glasses fixed. And that was how my father solved the problem. It wasn't like a you're in trouble. It was like a, now go defend your sister. And my brother was just like, I'm 6 years older than her. The boy is 14. I'm 20. My father was like, I don't care. We from the hood.
That don't matter.
Let's go.
Right. That don't matter.
So my father was like, change out your little suit and tie, put on some Timbs and a hoodie, and let's go. And we knocked on that boy's door. And the boy was like, oh, I'm gonna get my brother. And my father was like, go get your brother, go get your father, go get your uncles, go get whoever. We want the smoke. Because you're replacing her glasses. And then the mother came to the door and she was like, my son hit your daughter. We'll replace the glasses. My father was not leaving that door until they fixed my glasses. And mind you, my brother just standing there like, why are we here? And I'm just like, you're fixing my glasses.
I mean, that's the thing. Older people be like, why am I?
You fixing my glasses. I get new glasses. I get to pick new frames. I'm just like, I'm gonna get pink.
Your brother's like Nene Leaks, now why am I in it?
Basically.
Do y'all, like, if y'all would have kids, do you feel like you would continue that tradition on if you have more than one kid? Like, are you gonna charge the older sibling to, like, maybe not to the same extent, hypothetically speaking, because Nerd's face was like, what you mean have kids? Hypothetically speaking, if you were to have kids, do you think that you would be like, all right, I got 3 kids?
I cannot fathom the impossible.
It would be yes. The short answer is yes, but it would be more of a like if you want to participate. So you know how sometimes when you're a young kid, you don't know what is considered a fun activity. So you just see your parent doing something, you try to copy them. So like if I'm doing something for the younger sibling and my older one comes up and is like, oh, I want to help, I will let them, but by no means am I going to reinforce an obligation to do so. You know, I want that to stay a participation. You decide. So when you outgrow and you're like, nah, I realize what you're doing is mopping and I hate mopping, I'm not going to then be like, yes, you got to mop up after your little sibling. That's not what that's going to be. But would I keep them 100% separate? No.
I don't know. Because, so part of it is mopping is a chore that you need to learn how to clean up after yourself, because then you grow up like the homeboy you went on a date with. They don't know how to take care of yourself.
Like mopping, like as in cleaning up after your little sibling. I don't mean like just general mopping around the house.
Okay.
The sibling throws a whole plate of whatever they were eating all over the floor, clean up after them. Maybe as a kid you don't realize that that's a chore and you're just like, oh, I want to do whatever mommy's doing. Sure, I'll let you, but I won't raise you to every time you got to clean up after your little sibling.
In this hypothetical world, if I were to have 2 crash goblins, as far as imposing the will of third parenthood on the oldest, that's a slippery slope, because some kids, when you're young, you take that on because you want to tell the other what to do. Like my nieces right now, the oldest does it because she likes the power of, I get to tell you what to do because I'm the oldest. She doesn't fully understand what the responsibility that comes with being the oldest is. Like, she's just like, I get to tell you what to do. That's all she understands. I say, whatever I say goes because I'm older. So I think that there's a delicate balance, but I'd leave you to be solely responsible. And like, cause I've seen it where it's like, you kind of shirk your responsibilities as a parent, cause you're just like, oh, I'm so reliant on my oldest that I'm not even there. Like I have several jobs. Granted, it could be for good reason. I have several jobs, so I can't be present. So I'm going to leave the older sibling. I wouldn't want to do that. I would want it to be participatory, but I would also want to make certain that it's fully understood that it's not you just delegating and being a damn tyrant. That it's you fostering that relationship of mutual respect and you truly caring for one another. So it's a similar to how we have a bond with each other, where it doesn't feel like I'm being an older sister. It feels like I'm just being a caring sister. I don't even think about older, younger, none of that, because I feel like you give me the same smoke when you see me doing something silly that puts me in harm's way. You just have a genuine caring concern for my existence. So you get very protective of someone that is too close and where you sense danger in a way that I don't see it. So I would want to foster that, where it's like you want to do it because you care about that person. That's what I would want to foster. I wouldn't want to foster you're the oldest, so take care of. I would want to foster y'all are siblings, so look out for one another, because that's what my father fostered with me and my older brother. It just took us a little longer to see it, because the way that he did it was, you're older, so take care of her. She'll learn it later. The gap was way bigger. So for me, it was just like, follow my brother, do what he does. And he saw me as a nuisance for a very long time until I like could be like, but I don't want to do that. Can we just do this other thing? You know what I mean? And then we could have dialogue and like come to compromises. But I always cared and he cared. And then it didn't feel like an obligation. It felt like I'm just caring about my brother and he's caring about his sister. What about you, Jax?
Absolutely.
You gonna put somebody through the same hell you going through?
It's not hell. My siblings weren't hellish. Like me being, again, it's not, in my case, it's not a third parent. It's a second parent. And in my case, it never was like you have to do this. Granted, I had to grow up mentally a little faster. But other than that, like it wasn't like my siblings were very much like, this is what it is. And that's it. And I wasn't like a tyrant about it. I was just like, listen, this is what we got. And like, either you listen or you don't. It's like, don't die. Like, they weren't like trying to fight me and battle me about, oh no, I don't have to listen to you. I mean, did I have those days? Yeah, but it was so few and far apart. It was just like, and thank God for after school, because it was like we get home and these niggas is tired anyway. And again, by the time I really had to watch them, my mom's work hours switched. So instead of her being home at 11 midnight, she would be home 6 o'clock. So it really was, I just got to get y'all to school safe, get y'all to after school safe, and make food if we need to make food. That's about it. Like, my mom made it so she could be there. Because she wasn't there. I say she wasn't there for me, but she genuinely feels like, you know, I had to work and I wasn't there for like the important parts of you up until you got to high school. And she was like, I never seen you do any work and you're always on honor roll. I'm like, yeah, because I ain't trying to get my ass cracked. Like, the fuck? And again, I can count, me and my sister could count on one hand how many times we got a beating. And it really, maybe 3 times. I was seeing my aunt and uncle get smoked. So I was like, shit, if that is what ends up, I'm just not going to do that. So whatever they're doing, I'm not doing that. Or I'm not getting caught. So yeah. If my kids is like me and my siblings, hell yeah. They'll be all right. Those characters. Then they got to go. They got until 12 years old. And if you don't want to stay here, I'm dropping you off at the fire station.
Too late to drop them off at the fire station.
No, different ages. I think in the state of New York, you can drop them off either at a hospital up until they're 12 years old if you don't want them. So
legally,
yes.
She knows this is crazy to me.
I'm not gonna ask. It's gonna be a whole different podcast if I ask.
But a lot of in some states it's even 16. I'm like, well, damn, you know, had them the whole time.
That's crazy. Right. That is crazy that there are like a trial period on adulthood.
Yo, it's real life. Like when I learned that shit, I'm like, damn. At least before they start memories, maybe 4, but like to 12.
You trying to get out of there before. You trying to have your kid end up like gone? Like, yo, like.
Yeah, that shit is
Liberty
intense.
said,
but,
wow, that's crazy. Facts.
No, I would never give up my children. But yeah, they would have to.
After all of that.
Now, if they given like serial killer, you gotta go. For real.
Oh, of course.
But you won't see that until they're 12.
No, but I'm saying, I mean, that's gonna like activate it for sure. But I'm saying, like, if it's given like, I need to keep one eye open when I'm asleep, I need to get you out of my house. Right, I can't have you around.
That's what I'm saying. Developmentally, you won't see you won't see the patterns form for real until they're about 12.
But not there's some of them that they see that shit early, and then when they do shit at 12, it's like they
Right, but the
really
McDonough triad is like they're like prepubescent, so that's why I'm like you would need to see
Listen,
it at
kids
that
are
age.
crazy, but if you're doing shit that kids don't crazy do, then you gotta go. I'm sorry. There's certain things I've seen little kids do to each other. I'm like, that motherfucker's gonna be a murderer. Absolutely. There's no way he's not. There's no way.
I mean,
And
you are not wrong.
That
All
motherfucker
I am
is in
saying-
juvie now. So
but there are some
was not
kids that just
wrong.
have genuine curiosity, and they're like, I want to see how things work, and once my curiosity is satisfied, I've moved on. But then there are some where it's like, no, I have a pattern, and you may not see that pattern.
Like the 8-year-old that picked up the 5-year-old and dropped the motherfucker in the well. Yeah.
I was thinking more about the 8-year-old that shoved the classmate off the roof because that
As
happened.
crazy is as crazy does, and you got to go. Like
So basically, Ajax is saying, I don't care what age they are. As soon as I notice the crazy, they got to go.
right.
They going to the fire station. That's
Don't
what you're
come
saying?
to me talk about, mommy, I found this dead bird. Where you found it at? Well, it was flying and then I squeezed it too tight. You got to go. You got to go. You found a squirrel. Talk about, yeah, I just was picking at it. I go to the park every day. You got to go. Like, I don't care. I don't care.
Jackson, my love is conditional. It has conditions.
Always. Always.
Yo.
Put them up in a psych ward or something.
You not even gonna try therapy first?
I don't. That's what the
Right.
state is for. They can figure it out. The state can figure it out.
Yo.
I'm not wasting my resources. I got co-pays now.
Oh my god.
But of course, I will have my children checked out, you know?
Jax is
He's wild.
Yeah. That's why I don't have children now. I don't.
I'm
love
not wasting
babies,
my
though. That's the
resources
crazy.
is sending me.
I love children. Like, I want kids so bad, but I just don't want to
Have
watch them all day, every day. That's the thing. Yo, because I had a conversation with my mom. This was like, where the fuck was we went
That's
to
funny.
Woolbury Commerce? So I want to say maybe 3 years ago. And I was like, can I ask you a question? And she was like, yeah. I was like, do you think about us all the time? And she was like, yeah. I'm like, even though we grown? She was like, yeah. I'm like, so it don't stop? And she was like, no, it really. And I'm like, so when you had long days at work and you would pick us up, how would you be happy and like just jolly with us? She was like, because that's what you got to do. You can't just be mean and nasty to your kids. And I'm like, so you could have a shitty day and get all that strength to be happy around us? She was like, yeah. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing all that. I can't. Yo, I think I was really like, that's crazy. Like, not to say I don't think about my siblings every day, but it's like, it's not to the like, I'm like, you don't have one day where you're not like, I hope, they doing well. She's like, no. I'm like, nah. Kudos to you.
Because all it takes is one day. Your parents could be good with you like first 8, 10, 13 years of your life. All it takes is one day for them to have a bad day and take it out on you, and you remember that shit for the rest of your life. It might shape the way that you. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot. And I was like, kids don't stop talking. Oh my God. Because I remember me as a kid, I wouldn't shut up. I'm glad I'm quiet now.
The building, the skyscraper, look at the building. And you were like, yes, girl, you are French fry wasted. All right, this my stop.
Because I love having a conversation with kids. Yo, it's the funniest thing on earth. Because I just be like, yeah, and tell me about it. And they be like, yeah. And when I was much littler, and I was like, much littler, you're 3. How much younger were you? Tell me. Tell me the story. But yeah, nah.
Go win.
Yeah.
Oh,
My
no.
first like what? 3-4 years working with kids. It was like kindergarten. Kindergarten is mad fun, but you gotta be here all day. You can never dip down. Like you gotta go to lunch, and like, I swear, kindergarten teachers, be truthful. If you see this clip, I know y'all smoke weed at lunch, cause there's no way. Like you gotta like take a second and like you gotta do something to get it back up, or like a shot of espresso. Something has to be, because you gotta be on 10 the whole time, and you gotta be, and yeah. Like when I love kids. I love kids.
Speaking of what it takes,
my own though. That's a lot. I can return to sender. You know what I'm saying? We can have a party, eat cake.
Did she say return to sender?
She did.
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
No, you're a menace.
I'm not. I'm really not. Every time I'm chilling with kids, everyone be like, "You would be such a great mom." I know, but that's just right now. Okay. Later on, don't come to me with your macaroni art. I'm gonna tell you this right now. It's not going on the fridge. No Picasso here. No, but yeah.
I can't. Can I ask a question though? Going back to the topic at hand and speaking about, because you were like, what it takes. What do you think it takes? Can just anybody be like the older sibling? Are there like certain qualifications? Like, what if you're a fuck up? Like, do you still get the job because you were born first? Like, what are the qualifications? What makes you the one that your parent picks?
I think by default, parents pick the older ones, and then when they see enough times that the older one can't compete, then they transition to whoever showcases the best qualities. Like whoever is more responsible, whoever is more inclined to be quiet and organized, then it'll shift over to them. But I think from the beginning, when they don't realize whose personality is going to be what, it falls to the older one.
So the qualifications at the outset is just be born first.
Yes.
And then the qualifications are be responsible.
Yeah.
If you are like, if you have enough of an age gap, like the expectation is that you will be responsible. So it's like if the oldest sibling is like 13 and then the next sibling in line is like 7, there really is no like, oh, if you're more responsible, it really is like, you better be more responsible than the 7-year-old. You ain't really got no choice.
That's true. You know what I mean?
So question, what if the older sibling that is chosen, right? This is like, I guess, a 2-parter. Because I think, is it expected then? Because Jax, you mentioned, you were like, the conversation was had, like, oh, I'm not going to be here, so then you got to step up. So I assume you take that title, you take that role, that's a lifetime role, right? So what happens when you're older and the way that you do things clashes with the parent? Does it get rescinded?
Mm-mm. You're like the mediator. It's like, if we have different point of view, at least between me and my mom, like, I'll be like, you did this with me, but you need to also do this with X, Y, and Z, and I know you chose not to, but you should. Or it's like, or I'll let my mom know, like, you got to see it from this point of view. You can't do it this way. I mean, you can choose to do it this way, but, you know, I don't know. And then it depends on the siblings. Like, one of them will choose a side and go with that side. So it's more like, at least between me and my mom, it's like, you need to see this, or this didn't work out with me, and you see what happened. Like, now granted, in my brother's case, she was right. But in my defense, I was like, listen, I didn't take a year off from college, and I really didn't want to go to that school. And 10 years later, I finally got a degree. But my brother took a year off, went to school, and of course the pandemic happened, but he didn't go back. So she was like, see, if he would have just went straight, by the time the pandemic happened, it would have been his senior year or junior year, and he wouldn't have been like, "Oh, I'm not going back." So I'm like, "Yeah, okay, you was right," but I don't know. Like my brother didn't know what he wanted to do in school anyway, so I'm like, is it really he's not going back to school, or he just doesn't know what he wants to do? So yeah, and then, yeah, it really becomes more of a mediator the older you get. That's where I'm at now.
Because I definitely like with our stepmom, Mina. We were trying to organize, for context, we were trying to organize a sibling day, and things were not going as smoothly as anyone would have liked. And the ages are like, there's like 35, there's 33, then there's 20 something, 26, 25, 26, and then it was like a 15-year-old. Those are the ages of the siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And then our stepmom was like, she just texted me on the side and was like, "You're the oldest. Tell them what to do." That's cute. Imagine me telling Mina what to do. She will laugh at me. She'll be like, "Oh, you're
I literally had to go to a separate chat. It was like, can we all discuss this so we all on the same page? Like,
I literally went into our sibling chat and I was like, I guess what Ma just asked me to do. I didn't take it seriously at all. Because I don't take anything serious. Oh, correction. I don't take anything serious that does not greatly impact me. And I was like, can y'all figure out what y'all trying to do so we can figure out what we trying to do? And that was that. But I was just like, the mere thought of me telling, in my head, like 2 adults what to do and a half adult what to do sounds silly to me. Everybody tell me what you want to do and let's figure out where the middle point is. But it was just like, you really was like, tell them what to do.
I feel like with parents, the third parent role is given with the assumption it will always be in their favor to have that third parent. But then when you get older, they realize it's no longer in their favor. And rather than rescind it, they look at you and your siblings as the ops, as one unit of ops. Because one, the older sibling is the one that has some of the worst experiences with the parent and has that trauma that they're trying to like work through. One thing parents hate is being told about the trauma they may or may not have participated in. And often it falls to the oldest sibling to explain that, because I was in it. I was watching it from both ends. And so when the younger sibling has an issue and it's all this rah-rah, the parent will go to the third parent, be like, hey, this is what they did. And when you don't agree, you're like, actually, I understand why my little sibling is like that, because you was really wilding in these streets. Y'all all the ops. Y'all all hate me. Y'all all think I'm a bad parent. Y'all are all negative, and it's
the bad parent comment get me every time.
One sound, and it's like, ma'am, you gave me this role. You gave me this role and told me to care for them. So now I'm doing what you asked, but because it doesn't work in your benefit, now we're the ops.
Yeah, like, because it doesn't align with your vision of what that should look like, now is
it was convenient when I was doing their laundry. It's not convenient when I'm telling you about yours. Okay.
Ooh, that's a word.
I wonder if that's because what Nerd said about like just being tested and being like, you're the oldest, even though 3 out of the 4 people are adults. I wonder if that's like a generational thing, because it made me think about like the way that my mom and her 3 sisters kind of have things set up, thinking about like the way that they deal with like the land that's in South Carolina. It's like only the oldest, usually it's the daughter, because the men in the family, no. Only the oldest daughters are like involved in the business side of dealing with the land. Like nobody else gets a say, and it's not even something that's been spoken. It's literally just like, it makes me think like, okay, each of the sisters decided, okay, we need to appoint our oldest daughter to carry on the torch of being responsible for this stuff. You know what I mean? I wonder if that's it's like, where does that come from? Is that just a generational thing? Like,
It
it
might
make it
be. It might be because I'm like you, because this particular parent, it I don't feel like it was. It's like, you know who I am, and you know we don't always see eye to eye. So even my response couldn't have come to you as a shocker, because I legitimately, before I went into our group chat, was like, I can't just tell people what to do. You just go in there and tell them. Okay, no. I don't tell people what to do. I ask people what they want to do, and I do my best to find a compromise. But I'm not about to tell. That's where you go wrong. Telling people with autonomy what to do. I believe in autonomy. So it's like we often don't, even in our conversations, we don't always land on the same side. And it's all love. Like, I think that's one of the great things about it is that we can have the differences and still be like, oh, but I still love you down. It's not like a, well, you must hate me then because we disagree. It's just like a, okay, I see your vision. It's not my vision, but I respect you for where you're coming from. And one thing to my stepmom's credit, she'll always say, she was like, I think it's a generational thing, and it's hard to break from. And I think that's one of the things me and Mina were talking about before with her, is like, we respect the fact that you're trying to learn to see another viewpoint other than your own.
So it's not easy.
Not easy at all, but she always tries to see where we're coming from. Even if she doesn't agree with it, she tries to at least understand where we're coming from. So even when she hit me up and was like, yo, just tell him what to do, you know this, tell him what to do, and I was like, no. It was just, I could tell this was like a, you think because I came first, this is supposed to be my job. Let me let you know, this ain't never gonna be my job. I don't accept this job. If you try to force it on me, this is how I'm gonna do this job, and you ain't gonna like how I do this job, because this is gonna be a team effort. It's not gonna be someone delegate. It's gonna be what we doing as a unit, and then I'll be the mouthpiece. I'll be the one that reports back and forth, but I'm not the one that tells everybody what to do.
That's the part they don't like. When you make it a democracy between y'all as a unit, that's when you become the ops to certain parents.
Yeah. Do you feel like being in that older sibling, second, third parent role impacts your relationship with your siblings at all?
Absolutely. Absolutely it can, and oftentimes will. It's hard to dictate in which ways, because it all depends on, one, your siblings' own personalities as they develop, as well as the intent of the parent who put you in that position. If the intent of the parent is they think they're going to create another series of mini yous, who are exactly like you were as a child, then it can become toxic, because they're not identifying that these are three separate kids with three separate personalities. So then they start treating them and punishing them or rewarding them according to what would have worked with me. And when you have a parent like that, they'll often say it verbally in their conversations with those siblings, and that can create kind of a resentment. It's like, well, why do you keep mentioning her when you're talking to me? I'm me. Stop talking about her when you're talking to me. And so my personal experience is my dad often does that whenever they do something wrong, because he realized that they had a respect for me and that they kind of looked up to me because of a relationship I fostered. He started using that and was like, anytime they have a problem or they're doing something, I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to tell you big sister. I'm going to tell you big sister. And then they get under control. And I'm like, you got to stop doing that. You got to stop doing that. I am not going to do shit. To be clear, I'm not doing shit. These are your kids. You raise them. But also, how do you think that makes them feel about me if every time they get in trouble, I'm the punisher that you're bringing to the table? That's not how that works. And he didn't listen, so I had to have a private conversation with my sisters and be like, hey, when dad says this, please feel free to ignore him and tell him he's full of shit. And you can show him the recording of me saying that he's full of shit. But I had to go to that extreme because that was his intent. His intent was, oh, you were such a great little kid and I could understand you. I want to make them exactly like that. And it doesn't always work. Now, is that the case with every parent? No, some parents genuinely put you in that position because they think you guys are close in age. They want you to get along. They want you to be in each other's lives. It can work out great. Like for you, for example, with you and Antoine, it can work out in your favor, but sometimes.
What about you, Kuchiki Jax?
I mean, it didn't change.
He's thinking.
I mean, me and my siblings are close, so I don't think. I think it made us closer. Um, yeah,
You telling them
yeah,
what to do made y'all closer.
yeah. Because I wasn't like, and it wasn't like me or my mom was like, "You're gonna do this or else." It was never a threat. It was like, "You do this if you." It's really like, "Mommy told me to tell you to do this. If you don't do it, then you gonna have to chalk that up to mommy. I'm gonna tell her I told you to do it. So what you gonna do?" And if they do it or not, then it's like, okay. And then my mom be like, "Did you not tell them?" I'm like, "I did. I'm not their mom." Like they didn't do it, and then it's like, oh, when my mom starts spazzing, then they be like, oh, I'll be like, well, if you just do it. But then they figured out that I would tell them to do shit that my mom really didn't. So that's why there would be times where they'd be like, oh, I'm not doing that. And I'd be like, all right, call mommy's job. And then like, no, I don't want to call. Oh, so then what you gonna do? You gonna do it or you're not gonna do it? What we gonna do? So I mean, now they just come to me for everything. So I mean, they come to me and my mom, but like they'll come to me first if they want to ask my mom something or talk to my mom about something. And I'm like, just talk to her. Like my mom has never been that mother that's like, don't come in my door, be quiet on the weekends. It was just you could barge into her room at any point, which was really crazy. But like my mom is open door policy. Like just go to her and talk to her. She's not gonna invalidate your feelings. I mean, there'd be times where parents, of course, oh, you this young, what you stressed about, lady? Niggas is stressed. Like, just listen. Like you was a kid before. Like, come on. But
the whole podcast in and of itself is when we've been in certain situations looking for some kind of support, and someone's like, "You're too young to be feeling these feelings." Yeah. That's a whole podcast in and of itself. Let me write that down. Hold on. Anyway,
but yeah, me and my siblings are like really close. I mean, when my brother moved, we're not as close as we could be. But we gonna change that because this nigga be acting like Batman, and I ain't got time for that shit. So, but yeah, our relationship isn't bad at all. Thank God.
I think it's done a roller coaster ride throughout my life. Very early on, like I would say for like the first 14 years of my life, my older sister was very much like the person that I looked to for validation, the person that I looked to for like influence. And it really wasn't until as Calba kind of mentioned earlier, like as a child, like you eventually stop kind of like being like your sibling, and your personality kind of like blossoms. And that started to happen probably actually earlier than teenagers. I would say like honestly like 11, 12. And it wasn't necessarily like I didn't like being around my sister, but it was very much like, oh, you're a very opinionated person. Oh, I'll just leave it at that. I think what really kind of like separated things for me was when I got old enough to realize just like how broken the relationship was between my mom and my sister. And I realized that a lot of the frustration and anger and resentment that my sister had towards my mother, it wasn't that she was taking it out on me, but in a way, like we talk about that nurturing and almost like imprinting on a child. A lot of the resentment and issues that she had with her mother were kind of like imprinted on to me. And so it's interesting because like what I found with, I'm not gonna say every single like younger child, but like I'll take the Braxtons as an example because I love using them. Like Tamar is the youngest child, and she's also like the loudest and the most outspoken. But what I've noticed, or what's been called out, is that she kind of becomes like the mouthpiece or the emotional representation for what the older siblings feel towards their parents. or like what the parents feel towards each other. So that's what it kind of was for me. I realized that a lot of my own resentment and the issues that I had with my own mother weren't even about me. A lot of it was me taking the projection that my sister was imprinting onto me because of her relationship with her mother. And so that for me, once I kind of realized that, it was like, oh, I need to like step away because I have my own trauma to deal with. You know what I mean? Like I want to have I want to have a healthy relationship with my mother, and I can't do that if I'm constantly around someone who clearly is not healing their relationship with their mother.
That's an interesting thing from the
It
younger
was
sibling.
it's a very like it's super duper complex, but and again, like I said, like watching the Brastons, like I see Tamar and I'm like, oh shit, that's me. Like I used to do that shit. Like she's not even like really expressing her own emotions. She's expressing the emotions of her older siblings who have
Question:
never expressed their emotions. Yeah.
do you think like when you're with your older sibling and let's say they make, I'm not saying your sister did, but let's say they make statements, or do you think the way she refers to your parents when it's just y'all two, do you think that helped heavily influence when you're in that woman's space, kind of like someone talking in your ear badly about a person,
Absolutely.
you start to see that person in that light?
Absolutely, to the point where I want to say maybe it was even like 2020. I literally had a conversation with my sister and I said like, listen, especially now that you and your mother have been on the road to healing or like getting bonding closer, I'm like, do not talk to me about my mother. I actually had the same conversation with her about my dad, because anytime that my dad would get brought up, not even my mother, who has the actual real relationship with my dad, she would be the one to be like, oh, your dad's a crackhead and blah, 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 and this and that. And it got to the point where I'm like, yo,
Okay.
if you have nothing nice to say about my dad, don't say anything to me about him. Don't. And it was the same way with my mom. I'm like, if you take it to a therapist, literally, I was like, take it to a therapist. Do not say anything bad to me about my mother, because you are essentially trauma dumping, but it's also like you don't realize how much of an influence that actually had on me as a child. And that's not me placing the blame for my relationship with my mother. I take responsibility for that because it was a lot deeper than that. But it was just interesting to realize that like, yo, a lot of what shaped my opinion about my mom was my sister, and my sister had a lot. My mom was actually I'm really fucking lucky that I had the mother that I had. Like the way that I was raised is not common, and I realized like my sister has a lot of resentment because they had no relationship by the time she was 13. You know what I mean? They were done, literally, and yeah, without going too much into it, like I had to literally shift my relationship with my sibling over the years. And it continues to be a roller coaster as I'm in therapy and certain people aren't. And it's what it is. It is what it is.
Moral of the story, guys, get in therapy.
Always the point.
A word. Get in it. Get into it. Whew. I guess what I would want to know, like following everything that we've learned about being chosen for this role, is can you ever step down or nominate somebody else to take your place?
I mean, you could step down by force, but there are consequences that come with that. Like if you decide to step down, just understand. And again, it depends on the parent and their sibling kids, because the thing is, we say the parents put us in that position, but for some siblings, once you're put in that position, they lean heavily into the position you were put in. So they definitely start to look at you as a third parent. So when you step down, sometimes you have to understand that it's not just a big fuck you to the parent. Sometimes the siblings start to feel resentment of you stepping out of that role. Like you stop being the third parent to them and they're like, you weren't there for me. You just up and disappeared and left me with this person who claims they're my parent and don't know how to parent. And then you're sitting there like, but I was never supposed to be your parent. That doesn't matter to the younger sibling because you're the only parent they've known. So you can step down, but sometimes it has residual consequences that you make, because you might intend to say "fuck you" to the parent, but you don't mean to do that to the younger siblings, and it ends up coming across that way.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think like Kaba said, you can do it, but there will definitely be consequences, and you got to be okay with those consequences. Like, I won't say who, but I have an ex who, um, his oldest sister completely like just cut herself off from the family, and they haven't been in contact with her. I want to say for like the last like 6 years now, and it's sad to see like from the outside looking in, because I know like that older sister, she's had a grandchild now. She's got a grandchild now, so it's like there's a whole like next generation that literally won't know this side of the family. You know what I mean? Those are the consequences that I don't think we really think about, but it is what it is. I guess she feels like she's doing what's best for her, and yeah, I think it's a sad situation. I think it's great when the older sibling is doing it because they need to do it to be at peace of mind for themselves. But it is sad if the consequences get as extreme as like, oh, now nobody's talking to anybody. That's really sad.
Yeah. Jax?
Yeah. It's alongside of what Kuchiki said about his ex, because my aunt is really like our older sibling, and she Danny Phantomed us too. So it's like damn, I had to be. I mean, she didn't Danny Phantom us like when I started being like the older sibling, but it happened later on, and it's like damn, I don't have my aunt. So it's like I have to be the older sibling, because usually like if my aunt was the, can you talk to mommy please, like help us out. Now it's Asia, can you talk to mommy please, and I'm like, she is a grown ass woman. Like I literally, there is like I can say whatever you want me to say, but at the end of the day, she's your mother. Like she's our mother, and she'll listen, and then yeah, it's a lot. And maybe my brother sees it. I don't know. But my sister, she needs more of a. She needs to watch the movie in a lens of not being a child and just see, to be more open to like, okay, it's not just woe is me, and I need to be more. And again, she doesn't know the full saga of the her and her like her emotions, but I'm like, I have to like constantly try to explain the story, and it's like she's not willing to listen to the story. So it's like, okay, well, when you get in therapy and you can open your third eye, then we can have this conversation, because there's moments where it's like I think there's clarity, and then it's like it's a dark cloud, and I'm like, girl, I can't. But yeah, I just need my siblings. I don't know where Batman is at, but I need my siblings to take a step back and watch the movie as if you aren't in the middle of it, and then come back. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't see. I feel like I'm hearing like the stepping down in terms of like I'm just disappearing. Like I'm wondering, like, can you just step down and be like, no, I don't want to do it. Like when my brother tried to recruit me to help him take on that task of second parent, and I was just like, no, I'll do the trial run with you, but the moment they resist, I'm out. I feel like I successfully stepped down without Danny Phantom, and I feel like that didn't really do anything to the relation, at least for my part, because I was like, hey, we still siblings. I just you don't gotta listen to me. Just understand whatever happens to you is your business. Also, don't come to me because it's your business.
You weren't fully put in that position, which is why it was easy to step down. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
that's what I'm saying. Like I'm like I'm wondering if a person is put in their position and they're like, yo, like enough is enough. Like y'all grown now. You got this now. Like when do you take the training wheels off? When do you let adults be adults? Because aren't you supposed to be in that role to help your siblings grow? I guess I don't know what even is the role for. If your parents are like,
oh, go no, continue. I thought you were.
yeah, because I'm like, from what I'm hearing is, I'm not gonna always be here. You gotta look out for each other. Okay, but you're having me do this while you're still here, so it sounds like you need me to help you with the child rearing. They're not children anymore. So at what point do I stop? When do I get to retire?
You don't, because
Jackson.
you're very much the parent. The same way parents don't stop worrying about the kids, they expect you never to stop worrying about the kids. That's why third parent, you literally become parent. They don't expect it to stop.
So Jax, you gonna do this for the rest of your life?
The rest of my life.
That's what. Like so, because that just no.
Those are my babies.
There's
there's nothing that the crazy thing is there's nothing nobody could be like, oh, you not there's nothing, there's no reason
they
for
could
me
be
to step
50
down.
years old and still call you to bail them out of a problem, is what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely.
Because like, at what point do you view them as adults that gotta learn from their mistakes?
those are my road dogs. I will choke a bitch out at 50 years old.
It's literally like with your parents. You're an adult, but if you come to your parent, you're like, yo, I'm in dire straits. Your dad is showing up no matter what.
There's a difference between I'm in dire straits versus
but
my big sibling helped me do this thing. Like, you're an adult. And I feel like sometimes that big sibling role, that second, third parent role is like the training wheels on adulthood, and you're supposed to help me be an adult. And that's the part where I'm like, when does that stop? Yes, be part of my support system, but I feel like some tasks, like my little brother is definitely 26. I should not be helping you fill out a job application. You grown. This ain't your first rodeo. Certain things I should not be helping you do at this juncture, at this point in life, any further. I should not be part of that. Can you help me? You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Like, when do you when do you be like, all right, you got this thing called life?
I think that's why we all described it almost like disappearing, because no one lets you out of it without you having to do a hard line, because those expectations will still be there unless you draw a hard line, or unless your little sibling is like you, where it's like, okay, I'm a grown adult, you can't tell me what to do. Like, unless your younger sibling is someone who's eager to have that independence, you can't step down unless you disappear, because literally your parents and your siblings will inadvertently put that on you. They'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna do whatever I want. As soon as they get in trouble, even if it's something they could figure out how to get themselves out of, guess who they coming to first? You.
Because you're not going to be 30 years old asking me to call your dentist for you to help you make an appointment. You're an adult.
So listen, when my mom left New York, she had to literally teach her two youngest brothers how to pay the rent, how to pay the cable bill. Like, she had to literally, how to pay the phone bill. She had to literally write down these instructions because their mother passed away. And they immediately started to do that transfer over from like, oh, well, now that our mom is gone, you, older sister, you'll be, and she's like, no, I'm not having that. So literally a boundary had to be written. Like, she will literally, like, when she goes to New York, she'll still visit them sometimes, make sure that they're doing good, but they don't know where she lives in Philadelphia. I think it might be like that with all the sisters. I don't think any of my aunts have let their addresses be known to their younger brothers, because there really does have to be that boundary drawn where it's like, if you give them an inch, they will take a mile, unfortunately.
Every time.
And we're talking about people in their 50s and 60s. So I don't think it ever stops.
Every time. Every time. You have to
Yeah.
enforce. Do not call me. I cannot help you. You gotta be mean almost about it, which can be stressful if you're really not trying to be a mean person.
My siblings, my 2-year-old siblings don't have my address either. That's by design, but
Be like that sometimes.
also I think I made it very clear, like, you ain't got to worry about me telling you what to do. You also don't have to worry about me being part of your solution. I'm in the audience. That's it. I got a ticket to the show. I'm not stagehand. None of that. I'm just here to watch.
Have a good time.
I'm like, if you do a call out, I'll do the call and response with you. But
That's about it.
that's all I got. That's all I got for you. Cause I'm not engaging. I don't want to. And now I be deferring to the big bro. I'll be like, if you want to get it, you got it. But you got 2 kids now. You can't even get. You literally can't get it now. You literally cannot do it. He does not have this. He does not have the capacity. That's why I'm like, at this point, I think you have retired yourself because you're an actual parent now. You can't be pseudo parent anymore. You just can't, because you gotta be full-time parent. So I'm like, Rip, y'all better figure this out. But don't call me talking about something. I'm looking for there's this wonderful thing called Google. Okay, and it's gonna pull up some results. And you're gonna click on them and just know that .gov and .edu, those are reputable sites, okay? That's what I got for you. That's my help. But you get nothing else from me. I'm not walking you through nothing. I'm not filling out nothing. I'm not going to look at nothing for you because I ain't got to live there. You got to live there if you wanna. I ain't got to like it. You got to like it. But if it's one of y'all, I need to know everything.
All the details.
Everything. All the details. 411. Tell me everything. Drop me the low. Okay? I need everything.
The video of the apartment. Because we legit did that for each other. When we found an apartment we liked, record. How's it going? Look under that sink.
But it was more from a space of, oh, I have questions about this. Have you considered that? It wasn't like can you help me fill out this application? Because we grown.
Got
That's I'm like, when the training wheels come off, when you let them be an adult, I cannot see my brother filling out paperwork for them. I can't see it. He might have done that 10 years ago. I don't see him doing it currently.
Nothing takes you out of that role more sufficiently than your own kids.
Because
it's like a yank, that's my daddy.
The way the nieces be diva now, they diva style with his time now.
He literally didn't have a choice. Like yank.
They are quite diva style with his time now. So like I'm the damn sister, and they be like, yeah, what that mean? So
the takeover is real.
Too real. All right, beautiful people. As Jax always says, it has been really real. I would say that we're gonna raid or throw a host, but we both know that feature's broken for us. If you would like to be one of the lucky viewers that we try to raid and or host in the upcoming weeks, you should hit that follow button. Follow. So that you pop up on that little left side panel for us to rate or to host after a show. Otherwise, we can't help you. But we'll be back next week. Same time, same vibes, all positive. A little bit of shade, just a little palm tree leaf, you know.
A dollop.
A dollop of shade.
A dollop of shade.
It's a good word, dollop. Right. And we'll see you next week. Okay, thanks. Bye.